go ahead and establish a quorum. Mr. Morris is here, Commissioner Magnus is here, Commissioner Wallace is here, and Commissioner Shinpaw is here, and the chairman is here, so we have established a quorum. And I think, Melinda, you're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started with our public comments. Do we have any public comments? This is your opportunity. Going, gone. Okay, let's move forward. Agenda item number 3, discussion, consideration, and action to approve minutes from February 8th, 2024, regular meeting. Everybody had a chance to take a look at those?
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from February 8th, 2024, regular meeting.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Magnus. Do we have a second?
Right here. I'll
Got a
second.
All right, so we got a second from Mr. Shinpaw. Assuming there are no questions, let's go ahead and vote. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Commissioner Shinpaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Magnus.
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Judge votes aye. Motion passes. Okay, we've got update with Upper Trinity Regional Water District on Lake Ralph Hall project. And I caught something on the internet the other day, and it was interesting. And I guess I want to try to figure out where we were. We thought we were going to be getting some input, or being able to get some input into the lake shore planning. And I want, yes, sir.
I'm getting out and can't hear. Would you mind moving the mic a little closer?
If I can, I will. I'll use my courtroom voice. That's all right. Okay. What we're talking about is where are we with the lake? And it looks like the lakeshore plan is going forward, and I want the county and this commission to be involved in that. So I guess I'm going to ask, where are we? And I'm looking at Ralph Hall's representative. Yes, sir. Step
Are you
up.
ready for me?
We are ready for you.
Okay. When I was contacted, I was told we need an update on Lake Ralph Hall. So that's what we've prepared here. I think we'll answer that question as well.
Yes, sir.
For sure. And so, and we're going, the short answer is yes, we're going to have that input, and this commission will have that input. And so we're working on that plan, but we'll go through the whole presentation. There may be some folks that see some information here that they'll you know, they might find interesting.
I believe in transparency, and I want everybody to be informed and kept up to date which direction we're moving.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. We do too. So we're gonna show some of this information we've shown before, but some folks might not have seen it before. And so I'll go through some of those slides pretty quick. But anyway, I don't know how many slides there are here, but and I'm a little bit challenged here because my mouse quit working. I can't make my pad work, so hopefully everything works. I can only do the arrows here, so we're gonna try. Hopefully it works. So this is a slide you've seen before. This is kind of a history of the lake from our standpoint. And you know, I think late 1990s, the Ladonia folks and Upper Trinity got together. In the early 2000s, we had a partnership with Ladonia in 2004. We had a partnership with the county in 2008. Issued a permit in 2013. We began construction in 2021. We had the zoning, you adopted the zoning in 2023. We're working on the water and sewer infrastructure plan around the lake to help for the to help assist the local water providers. As when developers come up, they'll have a plan to work toward. You mentioned the shoreline management plan, that's underway. We've hired a consultant to do that. And then we anticipate that the lake will be open and operational in 2026, at least for pumping water. So we know the history of the other lake, you know, water comes first and then it takes a while for it to fill up. We're not sure when it'll be open for the public. We'll never say that
It'll be 2016.
till it's ready. You know, you see, we don't know when it's going to happen, but we can only set the stage for it. So there's just a couple little documents here that are important to us, of course. The TCEQ water rights permit, and then the 404 permit of Corps of Engineers. You see the dates there, 2013, and it only took us what is that, 14 years, or no? Let's see, there 14 years something to get from here to here through the Fort Worth district and the Corps. Just for clarification about the water from Lake Ralph Hall, the green area is, the green area here in Denton County is the Upper Trinity service area. We also, Irving's one of our member cities. They don't get water there, but they're one of our member cities. We have a pipeline from Chapman over to Lake Louisville. We're building a pipeline currently from here over to that pipeline to connect to it. The green area in Fannin County, that's where the water from that wheels through Ladonia can be used in Fannin County. Just to make it clear, there's been a lot of discussion about that, but that is what our permit says.
That's the floodplain for the, what, North Sulphur River?
It's the drainage area into the lake and in Fannin County, so our water rights permit says that's where water can be used from this lake.
I'm familiar with that.
Yes, sir, and to change that is act of Congress, pretty much, so it's very difficult.
Everything is nowadays.
I hear you, absolutely. We're gonna go through some of the components of the lake for everybody, just an update, and so you see kind of the major components here. And I hope these are all in the right order. Let's start first with the roadway. We had a number of roadways we had to deal with, as you're familiar with. This map's very busy, but what it shows is a number of state highways, a number of county roads, 2 bridges. We had the Merrill Creek Bridge and the main bridge over the lake. The purple are some county roads that got closed or are in the process of being closed. The blue areas, state highways, those areas will be cut off. Actually, this area will be cut off as well. And so you see the old 1550 gets cut off, and then 2990 gets cut off under the lake. And then this yellow here is the new 1550 reroute, which is open for traffic. And we took over a couple of county roads for that, worked with the county to make that happen, and so now it's a state highway. It's open and it's been traveled, and it's a 1550 here, back, and around. So that's kind of the in working in cooperation with the county. A lot of that happened right there. Let's see, hope it works here. Yeah. So we've got this is the artist rendering of the bridge. Once the lake is there, obviously the lake's not there. I'll make one note. You see a sailboat there. The bridge was, I believe, 30 feet above the water at the high point, so they can get sailboats onto the bridge. Not all bridges on these lakes in North Texas are like this. I watched the one over I-30 today. It looks like it's about 10 feet off the water. There's no sailboats going under that one. This bridge is 1.1 miles. There's another bridge up north, the Merrill Creek Bridge. It's almost 60 feet wide. It's got a 12-foot wide concrete path with a protected beam on the outside of it, inside of it. Again, 30 feet over the water at the high point. We started construction in 2021 on that bridge, and it was transferred over to Texas for operations in January of 2024. This is an early morning. They were pouring that bridge deck, and then not too much later than that, we've got some famous people in here. You may see some of those folks in this room right here when we cut the ribbon for that bridge. And I'm not in the picture. Somebody's got to take the picture, so I'm not in that picture. This is a photo we have from a drone, of course, and you see here that the old 34 has been removed. We worked with the county to basically harvest that road material off and use that for other county roads in the area. So that road's closed, and that is, it'll look a lot different when we get water in there. So when you see, when you look around the lake, one thing you might look at is this rock right here along that bridge. It's about, I think it'll be when the water's full, it'll be about 5 feet above the water, so you can kind of tell where the water line is going to be. Also, if you look around the lake, we've cleared some trees around the lake, and we only clear to the water line. So if you see a line of trees somewhere around the lake that's been cleared, that should be where the edge of that's the 551 elevation. That's where the water's going to be in the future. Next thing we'll talk about is the dam, and so we've got some new pictures here. I'm not a construction guy, so I'm going to do my best on this. Ed is our construction guy, and so he can provide you better information of it. But pictures tell 1,000 words, so we'll get right into it. So you've seen this picture before. This is, the north end. This is 1550 up here, and the south end is down off to near 68, or a little bit short of 68. This is a zoom in of what the spillway looks like here. You're gonna see some pictures of this channel coming out of the dam. It's been dug out and it's ready to go. You're gonna see this embankment here is pretty much in place now. But here, we're getting ready to cut over to the new direct water through the spillway. This structure right here, you're gonna see it. I forget how tall it is, but we're about to see it. So the dam itself, 2.3 miles long. The lake itself at full holds 58 billion gallons of water. The dam is about 15 feet above the conservation pool, which is 551 elevation. So it's it's gonna look like it's very close to the water's top. It's unlike a water protection like a Lake Ray Roberts. They have very tall dams because those lakes are intended to protect flooding. So a little different. These lakes like this are gonna be more about water supply, and so you don't see the large dam that's above the water. Started in June of 21. I think that was the same time as the road, roughly the same time. We're looking at 2026 for completion, and when we would have it begin to, we're going to pump water in 26 is my understanding. No promises, but that's what the schedule is. So this is a current picture of the dam. Obviously, we're from a drone. We are looking south from FM 1550, looking down toward Highway 68, which is just past the end of that little spot right there. You see this is the top of the dam right here, so they've got that pretty close in that area. In this picture you can see the diversion channel here being built. It comes out the back, and there's a check dam that's being built right there. You can see all that coming out to join in. So eventually they'll close this part of it and direct that water through this structure, and then they'll fill in this piece across the river. Also, just to show you in this picture, you see they've been mining the fill dirt out of the lake. You see a large area here where they've been digging dirt here, and this area right here. And so there's some large machines going out. So if when we're out in this area, you put your head on a swivel because these trucks will run over you and don't even know it. So you be careful. Have your flashers on and look everywhere. And this area right here is our pump station that's being built. I'll show you some better pictures of that in a minute. This is our mitigation area back in here. We're doing a restoration of the old channel, which you can actually see part of it here and through here, of the old sulfur channel. We got better pictures of that coming up. So yeah, that's the main things in that picture right there. There's just some numbers for you. 5 million cubic yards of dirt going in the dam. There's 134,000 cubic yards of concrete. The concrete's a real dry concrete, so it's basically poured in a dry form and compacted in. It dries very quickly. And so you just basically continuously pour concrete as they roll or compact it in. And you'll see the dam's going to be, I know a lot of dams you see has that rock riprap on the front of it. This dam's going to be more of a concrete front with steps on it and that sort of thing. Not places to fish. You can't be on there fishing, but it'll look like you could, but don't get on the dam. Okay, so this is the structure where the water comes through this little channel back, and this structure here is this structure. So you see a crane, so you see how tall this is, and this is that concrete I'm talking about. Looks like steps. That's the front surface of that dam. It's not a place to go sit. It's just the front surface of the dam and the spillway area, those restricted areas in the future. But they're working on that. As soon as they get it to where they can get water through there and they're done with it, that's what they'll do is they'll block this. Right now they're driving across, they'll block it off right here and start bringing that river through this dam structure so they can finish out that dam across the river. This is just a picture showing the location of our pump station here. Of course, there's a spillway coming through, and this is where the river used to be. It'll join in, and the river goes out this way. That's our pump station, which we pump water from this location. There's a pipe that comes out of here into a manifold in the back, and it goes out this pipe right here. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 pumps in that pump station. They pump it 27 miles up to the top of the hill in western Hunt County, and then it gravity flows into, for another 5 miles into another pipeline. Another picture of the same thing. You see, this is actually our storage, our yard area for maintenance. This is our pump station. This is kind of what it looks like. It was an artist rendering. It's always interesting to see if what the artist thought was going to actually what's going to happen. We'll see. Inside picture, it's a pretty boring internal, but it's got a hum to it. When you're inside those buildings, those pumps, they make a lot of noise. So you wouldn't believe how much power those pumps have. This was taken early 2024, and you can see water standing everywhere. It was like trying to build something in a muck. On the back of this building here, you see these little pipes. That's the manifold pipes coming in. You see these pipes over here. Those pipes are going to be laying right here, tied in. Those pumps will be laying there and there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pump locations there. And you see it right here on the inset. That's what it looked like when they got it located in there. So that water will come from the dam up to these locations into the pumps and out the pipeline. We've got, so this pipeline, let me see. And there's the current picture of what it looks like. Obviously, we're getting the roofs already, we're putting the roof on. We're getting ready to bring some transformers in here to power things up. You know, this thing's making great progress out there. That crane's been sitting out there the whole time. You can see behind there too that in that first picture there really wasn't a dam there. Now you're seeing this dam up in here, so it's getting built there. And there's some stats on it. This structure 42% complete. Let's see, suction pipeline, that was in the back complete. We're getting the pumps ordered and manufactured. It takes a long time. Hopefully in October, and then the electrical stuff. I'm sure you're familiar with how long it takes to get switch gears and all the stuff you need for electricity out there. Okay, next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be the pipeline going over to Merritt and then to in Collin County, Farmersville, to our connection point. So this is the overall stats for that project. Got the lake here, pump station here, 32 miles. Our balancing reservoir is here. Our connection point is there. And so we've got pictures of this, of course, and you've already seen that end of it. We got some a little bit of a few pictures here. I will point out at this location here, we are building an offtake at that point for Ladonia, because we have offered, and that's part of our contract, to provide them a portion of the water. We have the ability also to, they can have their own pump there, but there's also going to be a spot where they can open a spigot and have water right there.
That's going to be raw water rather than potable water.
Yes, sir. We don't have any treatment in this area. That's correct.
How far off do you think that is?
For what?
Treatment plant in this area?
I mean, I don't know. That's really something we haven't talked about, but you certainly got to have enough to do it. You know, I think right now, Ladonia has probably less than 400 meters, maybe. So you've got to have enough, of course, I mean, to justify that. So
yeah, I don't know what the magic number is.
I don't know either. I mean, it's something to explore for sure. So I know there's lots of stuff out there for small towns. We just the Water Development Board has put out a lot of assistance for stuff like that. So you know, we're always there to help where we can.
Now, in our southeastern area, we have a lot of muds that aren't necessarily equipped with sufficient infrastructure. And I'm worried about making sure we have water in this area and that it's available as we move forward. And I think you realize that we are looking to Upper Trinity to help us meet that future need.
Yes, sir. We're very, you know, we're very attuned to that and want to help where we can. I will say right now, and I'll let Ladonia speak for themselves, but my understanding, Ladonia has 2 wells right now. You got 400 meters. You probably have enough room. I look at the mayor. Probably have enough room for double or triple that services before you actually need additional water, and then maybe there's some other way. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to make sure we don't run out of water for Ladonia, and we're looking at all kinds of options there, though, sir. So this is a construction update for the actual pipeline itself. That's the route in dark blue. The light blue is what's been installed in the ground. So you can see we had like 4 or 5 different contractors working. So actually we've actually since laid this little section here, so that's all done. This is our balancing reservoir here. This leave out piece here is a tunnel under the Sulphur River, the South Sulphur River. That's an area, it's an environmentally sensitive area. We're going down, I want to say it's straight down like 50 feet, and then it's you know, I don't know, a couple thousand feet under that big flow area or flood area, and then it comes back up and connects. So it's quite a deal. If you go on Highway 512 over there, south of Wolf City, you'll see our road goes back in there to the operation. So it's a big, expensive operation to cross that river. We're probably up here, we're on the 1024 ranch right here in this area. We're probably, since this was taken, we're probably about right here right now. So we're gonna get we're into Fannin County now, and so we actually have 2 pipe crews laying right now. We've got one that's come out of 1024, and then we have a second pipe crew that's gonna start right there on let's see, where they were starting over here on the Burnett tract over here, just what would that be? It'd be east of Highway 50 in that area. So they're going to this area, this last piece here, and of course got to go up to the dam from there. So overall, 32 miles. I think about 27 of it is a 66-inch pipe, and the rest of it's the lower end is a 72-inch pipe. That pipe was manufactured in Paris. We put out bids, and this may not be our actual pipe, but it is certainly representative of what it looked like when we were having that pipe manufactured. We had the last time a video of how they did that, and it comes in as flat metal, and they put a spin on it and spiral weld the pipe. Then they coat it on the inside with concrete, and they coat the outside with waterproofing material or corrosion material to keep it from rusting out. So we're working on that now, and we have manholes every now and then for air relief valves. That's why you see those big concrete, either have relief or let air in, one or the other. And so you see those tops and bottoms of hills, and every so often you'll see the big concrete round come out of the ground. So there's also cathodic protection on it to keep it from rusting out. This is just a representative of what it looks like when you deliver that pipe to the site. This is, I think, showing here. These are where the pipe's going to be located. It's a pretty large. This pipe's about 5 feet below the ground. So you get about 5 or 6 feet of cover. Minimum. Sometimes it's deeper. This is all the gravel that goes inside where the pipe sits on top of that, and then you notice in this picture here they would have different parts of the dirt segregated. So they got some topsoil in one area, they got some other soil here that's going to be, when they get the spoils out, which is not having, they pushed all the topsoil to one side to dig all the what I'd call neutered dirt that's down below, has no nutrients in it. They'll take that, haul it away, you know, with the trucks, and then when it's all said and done, they'll take that topsoil and cover it back up, so you got good soil on top. This is during the process. You see the bad soil over there, and this was actually this is actually a cultivated field, and this is just cultivated dirt that you pulled off, and we'll put it back on top. There's about a foot of dirt off the top. This is went right by a guy's house, and so this is in the front yard. We actually had to stop construction at a birthday party that day. We let them do their thing, and the road's right behind that piece of pipe, and they did that, and then they picked back up after it was all done and kept going. So they do work with folks, but you can see how deep this is below the ground and what it looks like when they start putting those joints together, and you know, basically, and then they weld them all from inside. So it's all welded inside. So they got guys. There'll be a little piece of plastic pipe coming to the surface, and you'll see a truck parked there with his welding leads going down this little pipe, and there'll be crews of guys up and down inside that pipe. 66-inch pipe, that's okay if you're, you know, don't have heels on, but boy, it'd be a tired day for me. There's some, now he's pretty short, I'll give you that, but anyway, so he's standing inside that piece of pipe, 66-inch pipe. So it's pretty good size. You see it's metal right here, and concrete inside. Okay, this is, so the pipe, so the water pumps at the top of the hill. This is a 15 million gallon, or 30 million gallon storage area. It pumps up here and it flows out the other side in gravity to other pipes. So this is what it looks like today. I was just out there today. This is over in the Merritt area, and you see our pipes on the back side over there. So they'll be pumping into that, and then they'll go to the other unit, and then it'll come out the other side and go this way here. So north is down, south's that way, and, you know, Farmersville is just right over here, so we're not very far from Farmersville. It's not too far from Highway 36, if you know where that's at, near Merritt. Let's see, that's about, what does it say, it's, embankment's about 15%, and it's fully excavated. So next thing we'll talk about is down below the dam, the mitigation. So the Corps required us, we don't have mitigation in terms of floodplain or wetlands. Our mitigation is all about creek restoration. And so we were required to restore certain pieces of the old Sulphur River. And so if you look at it, you see the old Sulphur River's here. And so this is kind of showing the design of the Corps of Engineers is required. So you put these little, make these little puddles and ponds and put little wood dams and different things to make, you know, make fish and birds and frogs happy. And so this is all down below the dam. So this is Highway 904 right here. And of course, there's the dam, pump station's right there. And this whole area down below the dam on the south side of the channel is where that mitigation is located. This is it right here. So we're like above 904 looking west. You see the dam, there's the pump station over there. So they've got this, if you drive Highway 904, you can see most of this from the road, or at least the start of it. They're gonna start planting, yeah, so they're about halfway done. They should be done here in a few months with plantings, that sort of thing. So they're gonna make pretty quick work of it coming up. You see them down here working on it. So there's one over there. There's multiple of these things going out. You can see the old Sulphur River's here meandering through it. So that's gonna remain there.
Let me ask this, is that on private land or is it on public land?
That's on our land.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that's going to be open to the public?
We have a requirement with the Corps of Engineers to monitor and maintain that for 7 years. And so we have to, during that 7 years, the contractor is responsible for that. And so certainly don't want anybody to mess that up. So I don't know about the policies about who can go out there and what can happen, but I know that because there's a requirement of the contractor to make sure he's got to report to us, to the Corps, that it's all good. That would be something that.
We've got a similar problem with River by Ranch, where it's not open to the public, so we have a large area that's just sort of off the charts. So
Yeah,
I'm just curious how this.
Yes, sir. Are you familiar with Lake Louisville? We were one of the key designers of or participants of a plan for the Trinity River from Lake Ray Roberts down to Lake Louisville, all that floodplain trails, all that sort of thing. So we're with you on all that. And there's actually below the dam of Lake Louisville, it's called Leela, I think. It's like Louisville Education and something center. So it's like schools come in and they show them what's going on and kind of what some programming there. So I don't know if that can be possible here because there's some regulations involved, but I know we support that kind of thing.
Well, that's what we would like to be appraised of, so we can be of assistance if possible.
Absolutely, yeah, we're looking for that, so for sure. Also in the same area, just so you know, is where the relocated fossil park will be, which is going to give, it's right in this at 904, and 904 and the bridge is where that fossil park's going to be. And so that's going to be all kind of in the same area, so we'll have a parking lot and a location to stop, and then, how those connections are made, I don't know yet, we're working on that, but for right now, that area will be certainly the fossil park, so we'll be down here. Okay, then, where our headquarters is over here on 34. We're working on this, may not be exactly it. This is a rendering, as you know, you never know. But we intend for that to be something that's going to be publicly accessed. We've actually got, we worked with the city on some support letters on a grant for some public trails in that area. So you already know the trail comes across the bridge and ends right there on the corner of our property. We've got a grant in for Texas Parks and Wildlife, I believe, to try to get a grant to increase that public access around that property, and then we'll have, of course, our new headquarters, and then there'll be also some what we have planned right now. There's a meeting area in there, and we'll have some things that will be lake related in there for this specific area. I think you'll find very interesting. So right now we're under design on that, and it'll be sometime in 2025 to get started on that building. It's not in the lake itself, so focus on stuff that's in the lake, right now. We've already talked about, the maintenance facility. I showed you a picture of that, raw water pump station and the operations. The pump station's under construction now. The operations maintenance facility is, I don't believe is under construction yet. So it's just, this thing right here. So is that, and I think a place to store your buildings, that sort of thing. Just a scorecard here, you know, this is just showing, kind of where we are, and I guess if you look at this total of it, you see we're about 52% finished on the project. So roadway, it's 99.9%, just waiting for punch list items. You know, the dam's about halfway done. The pipeline's actually further than that. Pump station, these are probably June, yeah, these are June numbers, so we're a couple months past that, so we're making good. With dry weather, remember we had a wet spring, which we like water, of course, but you saw the water standing out there. We're trying to work. It's hard to work out there.
Where are you on the jetty?
It's coming up. Read my mind.
I didn't see a bar for it, so.
What? Okay, 100%. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. It was not one of the major components for the in our contracts. It was measured. So this is a picture of the lake, kind of showing where the public access points are. One of them is up here at Bug Tussle, at that cul-de-sac. 3600 will go off in that direction. There'll be a boat ramp over there by Merrill Cemetery, that area. There's the Merrill Cemetery. It's in the location there. The jetty is right here, so we have a gate. You look, we just built a gate, a fence, and an asphalt driveway off the road to go into that. So we'll be putting in, you know, better access to that as we get further along on that. We've got a boat ramp plan here at the end of 2990. There will be a cul-de-sac right here at the edge of the property. I'll close the road there once we get. We're waiting on the fossil part to get moved over before we close that road. Is what the plan is right now. And then we have a location here out of Ladonia on 2990, right there to put a boat ramp there as well. And so you notice all these boat ramps, we were very cognizant of the county and the responsibilities. So these are all interstate highways. Every one of them is at the interstate highway, so they won't have to go off on the county road to get to it. You know, this is 2990 or 1550.
Where are we as far as putting in a marina?
Well, we're not there yet, so we're
That
we'd like to get
does
some
that
boat
mean
ramps in.
You're contemplating putting in a marina?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
I want to, there are two things I want to be certain of, and I understand, I want to make sure they don't fade away. Number one, that we're going to have a marina on the lake, and that brings in a lot of local business. And number two, we're going to have private boat docks in certain areas. So if somebody wants to build a nice big house on the lake and add tax money because they live in Dallas, I want to see that tax money on the roll so we don't have to keep paying the bill. And it's great to have somebody who lives in Highland Park coming up here on weekends and not having a kid in the school system but paying taxes. So that's one of the things I would like to see happen.
Sure.
And it also, to a certain extent, cuts down on the density.
All good points, yes, sir.
How favorable are the water conditions going to be on the west end of the lake for that boat ramp? Because the way that I've read the maps and looked at it, that doesn't appear like it's going to be up to the boat ramp all the time.
May have so this picture kind of shows the water depths like you're talking about.
Yeah, specifically the one on the northwest side, I guess, if you will.
The good thing is that's up on. Let's see. That's not. Is that Brushy Creek or Pickle Creek? I'm looking for my local. Mr. Teeling, which one is it?
Pickle Creek.
Pickle Creek.
Not the one behind you, the one in front of you.
Oh.
Davis Creek.
Davis Creek. So Davis Creek there, if you know where I've heard crosses Highway 2990 is got to be 30 feet deep at that location. So we're tying in just south of where the current highway is. So if you look over there, you know, unless you wander off the channel, you're gonna have, I mean, the water. You see how dark it is right there? I mean, right now it's probably 30 feet deep. And when you get water on top of that, it's going to be even higher. So we're going to put together some plans to go out and pre-grade those areas, create the area. The one that's the most challenging is right here at 2990, because if you go down there, you'll see it's flat. There's no creeks in that area. or there is a creek, but it's just this one right here, pretty small, so we need a lot of dirt moved to make sure we have access to it. I can't, I don't think you'll have access to it all the time, and there's always times these things get, you know, down below it, and it just, you know, at that point, I'm not sure you wanna be on the lake if it gets that far down. You probably wanna, stay off of that at that point.
Right, another question, on the end of the lake where 68 crosses in the narrow stream, is that, it was my understanding there was gonna be like a motorless boat slip by, what's the update on that one?
Yeah, so, that will be one that we're probably looking for grants on with Texas Parks and Wildlife. We've talked to them a number of times. They're the ones that actually suggested to us to do that. And matter of fact, it's in the zoning, because we actually bought an extra 7 acres from, that property owner there to make sure, that we have enough room for it. And so, I think what Parks and Wildlife's telling us, their experience is that if you don't, they're gonna pull off the side road and throw the kayak in right there certain times of the year. You might as well have a safe place for people to pull off and create that. So I think that'll be something that, it's not in this plan right now for us to build right now, but with proper grants and those kind of things, that would be something we certainly have in our vision, that it could be a spot. I mean, it's just gonna be trying to avoid a nuisance out there at some point, because they're gonna be pulled off. And it's, you know that it's
Right.
like a pretty steep bank. The property we own's is on the south east corner right there, on Mr. Woodson's property right there. We bought some, he was gracious enough to sell some extra land to allow for that. So you see the fence out there, and so we own from the fence up to the river in that location. So that'll be there's already a gate there, and so it's pretty level, so it'll be a good spot.
So I want the shoreline to advantage the people who own property on the shore. And I've seen people up on Boat Ark Lake who had paid $2,300 for some acreage and ended up with it going up to $65,000 an acre because they had access to the lake. And if you don't have access to the lake, your property isn't going to increase in value with that delta. So I think it's important that we do keep in mind that some of these adjacent property owners, if they're going to make a profit off of the lake coming in, have access to the water. And I'm big on that deal, and we got a letter from you guys years ago saying that that would be accomplished. And what I don't want to see is the Upper Trinity owning all the property around the lake and none of the adjacent property owners getting a bang off of the deal.
Well, I'll say that we bought to the 560 elevation around the lake pretty consistently, and we can only blame the topography about how far it is away from the water's edge to the property line.
What our friends from North Texas Municipal Water District doing are allowing access across their property to let people have private docks on the water.
Yeah, and that goes without saying, of course, yeah. That's why we have a shoreline management plan, is to allow private use of somebody else's property. That's the whole purpose of it. There'll be permit agreements, that sort of stuff to allow that, of
Okay,
course.
well, that's what I'm aiming for, and
Yeah.
if somebody wants to buy a piece of property next to the lake, they don't care if they've got to pay to walk, 300 feet across the lake's property to get to their dock. They just,
Yes, sir.
for the property values to go up and the adjacent property owners to get that bang, I've seen literally things that were $2,000 selling for $65,000 an acre. I want to see the people in my county take advantage of this, and I realize that I'm big on there being water available, but my primary concern is our citizens here and our taxpayers here.
I'll agree with you, Judge. I think that's very important that we have access to the lake. What concerns me more than anything as I look at this map is it looks like that access, if allowed, which I hope it's allowed, is really gonna be favorable from the 34 bridge, a little bit to the west of it, most of it back to the east. Everything from basically where 2990 run back to the west. The way that I look at that, that's gonna be pretty shallow and a long way to the water most of the time. And it just gives me a little concern, and it's too late for that now, is what's that area gonna look like?
That's gonna be
With y'all
probably a lot.
pumping water out of it? I mean, it's flat around here. You said topography. Like, that's not, the deepest part's gonna be right in the channel. And
It's gonna be like West Galveston Bay, where When the tide's in, it's 4 feet, and when the tide's out, it's half a foot.
Right, so
Well,
we've
if you're
got
in a Boat
this-
Ark Lake, you see over by by Highway
Right.
82, that's a big flat area. And, you know, unless you wanna walk 2 miles across that flat area to your boat dock, it's gonna be
Yeah.
tough. And so then it's also, you know, you
Yeah.
gotta have a reasonable amount of area that you would have. You don't wanna spend whatever amount of money on a boat dock and it's only available, you know, 2 days a year. So you gotta take that into account. So there will definitely be some areas, I mean, the natural topography is
Right.
what it is. We're not gonna, you know, you can't go out and dig enough dirt out to make it a difference on that.
What Boat Ark did, they came up with a equation and a ratio for the number of boats they wanted on the lake at any time, you know what I'm talking, and then they went in and they decided which areas were ideal for boat docks, and those are the only ones they're permitting. They're not permitting the mud flats. I don't know if you've ever been across, you know, Hugo Reservoir, Hugo Lake, you think.
I'm from Lamar County, by the way.
Well, it looks pretty dry up there when the water's down. All you have is wood ducks.
Yeah, you can drive across Lake Levon Bridge on, going into over there and find, and that's what, you know, it could be, that's what upper end. Now, we're gonna do some tree clearing, and you know, we've already done a lot of this area. We're not gonna clear this area up in here, on the west side. That'd be a good place for fishing and whatnot there. And then we're gonna do some clearing, probably, we're coming out with that here in the fall, so we'll clear a lot of this area here. And then this area here, what trees there are, not a lot of trees out there, but mostly, you know, cultivated land, so it won't be a lot. But up those tributaries, there'll be some trees left out there for good fish habitat.
So you do plan to clear some west of the bridge?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah, we're about to, that'll be this winter.
Okay.
We're going out, getting ready for bids on that to go out this winter to get, you'll see that happening, here. And we have a thing we do with birds, you might know, so we're watching, we have to wait till they finish all their nesting stuff and whatnot, and then we can clear trees. But, we'll definitely be clearing trees, coming up here this winter. And, you'll see a big difference. I mean, you remember this area here, it looked pretty heavily, but really what it was, there was trees on those tributaries and fence rows, and you take a fence row out and all of a sudden, wow, that's wide open down through there. There wasn't that many trees. There were a few groves of trees, but for the most part, you take a fence row out and you're in pretty good shape. And the depth, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't, there would be, you could not, the amount of money it would take to dig out a lake to make it where it's gonna have water would be astronomical.
And I'm not saying that it should, I totally get how topography
Yeah.
works, you know I control so much. I just want people in that area that are coming to this area and the people that are representing people that are selling land in that area to understand what it's gonna be. And I want basically transparency that
Yeah.
what this end of the
This is
lake.
pretty
like-
transparent.
Yeah, like this end of the lake, but if you don't know anything about the water, like, you gotta understand.
Well, the depths are like, it's on the
Here,
map, said
right.
right there what it is, so it tells you what the depths are, like
Right.
what we know.
I just don't want people on this end being misunderstood, that it's
Yeah.
not gonna look anything like, or Boat Ark Lake for that matter. It's gonna be pretty flat and pretty,
Well, I mean, Boat Ark
Pretty-
Lake on the west end is
right, but it's
Pretty shallow.
17,000 acres, this is 7, if half of it's full at 3,500.
yeah, it's about the size of Lake Grapevine, if you've been around Lake Grapevine, pretty good sized lake.
Okay.
Or Joe Pool Lake, and if you're in that part of the world. These aren't, it's not a small lake, it's pretty large. Now, I mean, Lake Louisville, I think is like 37,000 acres, so, you know, that's like 2 or 3 times, 2 times Boat Ark, or, you know, there's huge lakes out there, and there's other ones that aren't so big, so. This is what this one is, so it's, it'll provide, you know, what we need, and, you know, a good resource for you guys here locally. What else? Okay, the fishing jetty right here on that peninsula there, I talked about it. What else? So the headquarters is gonna be right here, you know where our property is already, where our sign is, that's where that headquarters is gonna be. And of course, our other maintenance facilities down below. Fossil Park here, this is all the mitigation area down here. What have I missed? We'll have a private, you know, I guess it's for the dam operations, there'll be a boat ramp there as well. So there's one here, but it's not open to the public, it's behind the secured fence for, I'm guessing for police and that sort of thing, or sheriffs and Texas Parks and Wildlife, those kind of guys will have a place to go. It's kind of segregated out, so they don't have to, you know, they can come and go, and there'll be additional resources down there for them.
And what they did on the Boat Ark is, your public ramps are fairly shallow. The safety ramps, the operational ramps and law enforcement ramps are deep. so they can get on the lake when nobody else can.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, we get to learn, the good thing about them going first, we get to learn from a lot of things they do. So we like that and all, I don't know. Well, you know, that's what we're studying right now. So, we are working on it. So this is just one example here. This is one of our, this is actually the one we had planned off 2990, just a rendering, not necessarily what's gonna be. This is actually, Davis Creek coming here, I believe. And then got a couple of boat ramp, you know, boat facilities there, kayak. These are just, again, these are just renderings and concepts. This is not what, you know, we're going through it right now. So we definitely wanna go in and make sure we get proper, you know, grading done in the lake before we get water in there, so we can get that done before we have to deal with permits and all that sort of thing, 404 permits and that sort of thing.
I don't see any public laboratories, but I'm assuming.
Oh, that says right there, restroom right there.
Okay, now I
There's a
see
big
it.
oak tree right, no, I'm just kidding.
I see it. Oh,
Okay, I mean, that's what it says. I
It's a
mean,
blue plastic building there.
Yeah, it's on wheels and you know, no, I'm
What
kidding.
is that boat dock? Where's this?
Oh, that's where you pull off and temporarily put your boat, where you go park your boat, your truck or whatever, your
Okay.
trailer or something. This is a temporary staging area for you to transfer, you know, that sort of stuff.
So
This
aren't
is
the
just
roads
concept,
closed
so.
down there? All the roads are closed down there. How are they gonna get to that?
So you come down 2990, and then once you get at the end of 2990, just south of your track, it'll be you'll be on the in the internal road right here. This road right here will connect up to 2990. So it'll be an internal road on our property, like any state park has a little road that goes down to the boat ramp, and you go to Boat Ark, you have the same thing. Go right down, you know, off the county road onto, I'm gonna say private Trinity land, and drive down to the facilities.
So you're gonna have restrooms?
That's what this concept, I'm not guaranteeing what's on this, this is a concept plan, so, you know, I wanna say, hey, we're gonna build this, 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 and this. You know, you get all kinds of things from folks, and you gotta deal with the issues with, what kind of restroom, is it a biodegradable, is it got lights, has it got water to it, what is it exactly, so it's going through all those iterations of that, so.
So you're gonna build that road? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Or
this will
is
be
it
a little,
already
that'll be like a
existing?
park road, an
Oh,
internal
okay,
park
gotcha.
road, it's not a public road, it is public in the sense that public can go to it, but it won't be like a county road. Okay, the state highway stops at the end up there, let's see. Okay, this was the one here, okay, so the state highway comes down and see where it's green, that's where our property starts. And so there will be a private road gets to, over from, once you get into our property, there will be a little, you know, access road built.
Down there where Flesher lived, is that what you're saying? Is that close?
At the top of the hill, right there at the top of the hill where that last mailbox, I think we took it down. I don't hope it's,
Flesher.
is it down yet? No, not Flesh, it's the one before it.
This is
One
Foster's.
before it, yeah.
The old
it's
Foster
down,
property, yeah, the old is that
Could-
Foster mailbox still up?
could
I
be
think
gone
they took
in
it
the
down
day.
last
Okay.
week.
Yeah, good, so I mean,
Well, on Foster, it'd be Foster.
yeah, at Foster, it stops at Foster's, that's where the property, we bought the
On the
Foster
curve.
property, so,
Yeah, on the curve, okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Will there be any areas where future down the road, day use areas, recreation parks, campgrounds might go in?
You know, that's something we're gonna have to address with our board, but, I mean, we're not building anything like that with our current, other than we do have the fishing jetty. And it's on a little piece of property at the end of the bridge, the Highway 34 bridge, on the east side. There's a spot of land up there on top of the hill that's gonna have a very good view. It's right here. And you can see the whole lake in front of you, so it's gonna be very nice. Now, what the facility is there, I don't know.
Okay,
It
so
hasn't been
that's,
planned. All right now, we have a jetty built. You're gonna see a picture of it in just a minute, so. I know the judge wanted to see that picture. And there it is, right there. So, right now, the fishing jetty is built, and again, the water's gonna, and that's a pond that's out there right now. And the water's supposed to be up, you know, somewhere in this area right here when it's all said and done. It's like, looking out there now, it's hard to believe, but, when it's all said and done. Now, the other side is a smoother finish. I think that's that interlocking block or something on the other side. It's a little different. This side, maybe this side's because you got the wave action from the big part of the lake, and the other side's gonna be, I mean, Highway 34 is just right there, so you're right close to Highway 34. We built this with, we had a grant from, through Texas Parks and Wildlife. It was a Bass Pro Shop grant, I think it was $250,000. That didn't come close to paying for all that, but we did apply that money to it. And it also paid for, a bunch of these, you see reef balls out there stacked everywhere. That's gonna be a place for fish to go to. You see those, what they call spider humps, where you have a lot of logs. A lot of the clearing we did, we tied logs together in a pile of rock. And those are sitting there. And then other areas, or actually in those same areas, we have built like on a little flat area like this right here. And that's not one of them. We built these little pea gravel spawning beds out there. And so it's my understanding, if you go to Bodark Lake, those are pinpointed on an app. You can go find those. And I understand they're gonna do the same thing, but we're not in charge of that. So that'd be something Parks and Wildlife would put out on there. You can look at it at your phone. I've done it for the Bodark, so I know you can find them there. And so the Parks and Wildlife are the ones that put those out there. And so they should have, flagging about where they are. But you might want to take a picture right now, because that's where they are. We just talked about clearing. Some people in this room might recognize this picture as being real close, but you can see like the water level is going to be right here, this little tree line. That's one of the water areas right there. Then it goes up kind of pretty close to the back of this dam right here at this location. This is Highway 34 right here is what that is. So we're just this is a picture from the east side of Highway 34 taken last winter, I want to say, spring maybe, something like that. But we're doing something similar to that on the other side coming up over this next winter. So, any structures out there, we're going to remove hazards. You might have to knock the top of a dam off if it gets too close to the top of the water. Clearing trees within the conservation pool, so we don't get outside of that. If you still see, like I said before, a tree still standing, that's because they're out of the water. Then we get into the thing we've talked about. We've met with this group many times, so you're familiar with this. I won't go too much into that. We'll kind of go through this pretty quick. We have the land use plan. We have the zoning plan. We're working on a water and sewer service study. We got the lake and shoreline use study. We're providing those studies as our commitment to the county to do that. When we came to you in 2008, we said, hey, we'll do this, and we're going to make sure that you have the proper tools in place. We worked with you to go down to the state, get the legislation approved to have zoning authority for this one, and Bodark was added, I believe, later to that same regulation. Of course, our key to being able to fund these things is for water quality protection. And so that was I believe that's the comp. Let's see, that's the zoning, that's the zoning map. That was the zoning map that was approved. So that's the current zoning map right there. Then they had the comp plan before that. This kind of shows what this zoning board adopted in terms of kind of what you would look at in future uses. I think the most recent change was we added the shoreline areas around some of our properties that allowed for the boat ramp areas, that sort of thing, and we kind of changed them. I think it's for the better of what we did. So we worked it all out. Again, one of the main chapters in that plan was all about water quality and infrastructure. So we're about water quality, and so everything we do is going to try to protect that. Of course, we have a contract with the county in 2008 that addresses that and provides some guidelines and things we will be doing. So. Same thing with the zoning was adopted in 23. We had that updated as mentioned and later that year, which went down to the shoreline, certain areas for that, and the boat ramps, that sort of thing. And then we had there's a few little changes in the development regulation. I know she's got her pencil out and making those marks and getting that done. And I think we're getting in pretty good shape, I believe. It looks like it's getting, or it's I know there's some desire to kind of make it similar so you don't have confusing rig. I get all that. So there's a few differences. We're a different kind of lake.
Well, let me say this so everybody understands. The comprehensive plan and the zoning regulations are not written in stone. County has the ability to modify those. The water quality issue, we're all concerned about water quality. Now, what does that translate into? That's something that we can argue about. But for me, I don't want to be a water colony. I want to make sure that some of that water stays here, and I want to make sure that we have good development. And, My mindset, and I'm not a water engineer, I'm assuming if you got water, it's gotta be purified. So if it's coming off of the lake, that's just my mindset. So I think we've got some room here, and I wanna make sure we've got good water for the Metroplex and for a third of our county, obviously. But these regulations, if we can get a new zoning board in 5 years, and they may wanna modify a lot of this, and they're going to have the ability to do that. So these aren't the 10 commandments that are written in stone. These are flexible, and they can be modified in the future. It's the county and the city of Ladonia and everybody else that, for me, Ladonia is the county. We're all citizens of the same place. We all pay taxes to the county, and we need to do what's best for our community, and we need to ask ourselves, what do we want? What sort of development do we want? What do we want this place to be during the remainder of our lifetimes, which to me is probably 3 weeks, or for our grandkids' lifetimes? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. And as we adjust these levers, we can get an entirely different type of development. So we need to be mindful of that. We need to make choices and be aware that every choice we make, if you eat donuts, you're probably gonna get diabetes. It's just part of the deal. So we gotta be careful what we do, and we need to recognize that we do have the ability to make choices.
Yes, sir. So, I think it's important to also remind folks that the comprehensive plan is the roadmap for where you're going, and the zoning is the regulations to implement where you're trying to go to. So, in a typical zoning situation with a city, I worked for a city for 27 years, so, in that role there, you would always go in and look at your master plan and see what's good next to something else, and you look at your master plan. And then when a zoning change comes in, you look at your master plan and go, well, does that fit with what our master plan is, or we need to change our master plan? So those are all things this board will do and consider, and future boards will do. But it's important to have a roadmap to start with, and then you implement those regulations based on that roadmap. And yes, it's a changeable document by this board, and then they take it to the county commissioners, and the county commissioners have the ultimate authority to implement those changes. So
The voters have the ultimate authority. You can get rid of it.
So we started this in late 2023. We had a little bit of a stumble out of the gates, but we're getting on it, and so this, as you mentioned, the judge mentioned, the shoreline this plan is, of course, Trinity owns the shoreline. And we've committed to the county multiple times that we would allow these private uses across that, certainly in the right locations, and in the right management practices, not to create erosion in the lake or cause some sort of pollution of the lake, etc. One of the differences we have, I pointed out, for our lake versus Boat Ark, and I know the regulation we're trying to be all the same. Boat Ark, our lake has a regulation of requires that we have a riparian buffer zone that we have to maintain around the lake, and so that's a little bit different than maybe what some other lakes have. I don't even know what Boat Ark has, but I know our lake has a riparian buffer zone. It's in our regulations, it's one of our requirements. So it puts a little bit different spin on what we might be able to do, but we are going to allow reasonable access. Our board's committed to it twice. And we've reconverted it as recently as last, I think, January. I think we brought a resolution to you to, just to, make sure.
What I will say is I don't want an argument that you need a riparian buffer zone to stop private docks.
Right, I
And
think.
if that's where we are, we've got an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yes, sir, we're fully planning on docks, so I don't think there's any question about that. Our board said yes, we've said yes, the letters to the judge back in 2013 said yes, so, there's gonna be, not every place needs a dock though, or not every place when Boat Ark gets a dock, so.
Probably
it's-
a third of the places can get a dock. It's not.
Yeah, so it's limited, it's not everywhere, and it's one of the places where you obviously, you're up on some tributary up there, and it's like, well, I don't know about that one, so. But I do wanna point out, we're a little bit different than the lake, in that we do have the riparian buffer zone. And so we also have, in our contract in 2008 with the county, The county agreed to support us on regulations of septic systems. I mean, it's certainly doesn't hurt anything early on, but when you have subdivision after subdivision after subdivision, like Cedar Creek Lake or Lake Tawakoni or Lake Ray Rock, Richard Chambers, these others, we've talked to those folks, and you know, it's good to get these things in place on the front end, not the back end, because once those developments are in place and they're spraying out these rotor systems, you got phosphates in the lake. I mean, sure, we can treat them, and it would cost extra to treat this as well. It is treatable for sure, but you don't want to have algae bloom and all that sort of thing. So the thing you're bringing people to the lake, you don't want to kill the golden goose of what they're being attracted to. So these shallow areas, you know, you're going to have some issues if you're not careful. And then ours a little bit different. I'll point this difference out between us and the other lake north and Bodark. Bodark Lake has a flow through. They have a river that's flowing all the time. They have water going through it, and it carries things through. This lake is, as you know, the Sulphur River is dry a lot of times, except when it rains. So you're seeing a situation where rain comes in, kind of stands there, and it can go out for sure. There'll be water going out, but not near the volume that you get in other lakes. So we have to be especially, careful, especially on the front end, about allowing and making sure we watch out, not for mom and pop. So mom and pops, if you're, onesies, twosies, even up to I think 20 in the regulations now, you can still develop that with your regular septic systems. But when you get big subdivisions, those big subdivisions need to build treatment for that, and it happens all the time. We're over in Denton County, and those subdivisions, one after another, they'll put in a little package plant to treat their sewer. TCEQ regulates that, and so it's something that needs to be done. And I know the county has agreed to that back in 2008. So, and it's currently in the regulations today.
I would say that I don't think there's anything that's terribly specific. And for me, the issue on the OSSF is density. And the way we're set up now, we've got people coming in under our regulations that have to have a minimum of an acre. And that means bigger lots than letting people come in on quarter acres. And I think if you have a bunch of quarter acre lots, it makes sense to require a package plant. If you don't have quarter acre lots and you got somebody who wants to put in 30, 20 acre lots, where's the harm? I think we need to be conscientious about what we decide, because deciding a little thing like OSSF can affect the density that we have in this area. There are things that we need to think about. I understand that Upper Trinity is concerned about water quality, and it's like my water cooler at home. I don't want people swimming in it, it's obvious, but we're not talking about a water cooler at home. We're talking about a lake. And I'm not a water engineer, I'm not a scientist, I don't know what's good or what's bad, but I want somebody to bring me proof of what's good and what's bad, and us make decisions based on that proof. That's where I am on this, and we had an item here to discuss the water issue on the OSSF, or the lot size, and I don't think we necessarily need to go into that tonight. I probably want to pass on it, Di, but it's something we need to be aware of. It's one of these unresolved issues. Right now, we've got a issue with how soon are we going to get potable water in this lower third of the county. We've got an issue with whether or not we have docks on the lake, private docks on the lake. And we've got an issue with density on the OSSF, and I want to do what's best, and I want to do what's best by mediating Ladonia's desires, the local non-Ladonia people's desires that live around the lake, and want to also include in that what's good for, I'm a good neighbor and I want to do what's good for Trinity. But everything in life is a balancing act, and we need to take a look at it and make sure we end up where we need to be.
You might also consider that putting the lake in, it might change the substrata geology. You might have water where you've never had water before under your property, because our subsurface here is a shale, very fractured type of rock. So it might be coming under your property, which is what I believe Upper Trinity might be concerned a little bit about. If you have a septic system or a number of septic systems, putting water on top of the ground, and it percolates through the soil, goes down 40 feet, it's in the lake. Or vice versa, you might be able to put in a water well and pump water from the lake where you couldn't do that in a million years right now.
I have had a property that had springs on it, and you figure out that water, not only, groundwater not only flows down, it flows up. I had a hill that had a gushing spring on top of it,
Can.
and it was an interesting phenomenon. Here's this hill, and there's water coming out of the top of it. And you
So
sort of-
if you have a substrata that's solid and you have a hydraulic base, like a lake, it'll push water up that rock to, you're talking Lubbock, Texas. I mean,
Well, I'll just say, I haven't heard those concerns of the, some of the things you mentioned there, just to clarify it. We haven't heard those concerns, but I appreciate bringing them up. So I don't wanna be silent and say, hey, that's, oh, he didn't say it. I haven't heard those, but, so anyway, can I go, should I go to the next slide? Good?
Yep, continue on.
All right.
We're here for two reasons. One, we hadn't had a meeting in a long
Yeah,
time.
there you go.
And we wanted to hear from you,
Yeah.
and I think we also, our other secondary issue is about Ladonia and where we are on that. I heard there was some conversation about wanting to replace Mr. Morris or find somebody else, or find out when to replace him. I think we went through this with Jan at one point in time, but that's something we can discuss if we don't all melt before we get to it.
Hang in there, will ya? This was, we did do that study, like you mentioned, Judge, back in August of last year about, we had Jacobs Engineering, a very fine, reputable engineering company looked through, and they looked at the studies on what it would look like if it was fully built out, and of course, you know, the harm in the spray, the aerobic systems, is that eventually the phosphates build up on the surface, and it gets enough saturated condition where those phosphates roll into the lake. So that's the big thing. And it won't happen originally, it won't happen for quite some time, it's gonna be.
One of the problems is when I reached out to other people, I was getting different opinions.
Okay.
So it's,
Well, let me say, this lake is probably, they're very specific with this lake, they know this lake, and so it might be in a general, maybe not.
I want
but-
to hear from several people. I've been in too many court cases where there are three different experts.
Well, these are engineers, professional engineers put their seal on it, so I'll say they put their seal on it. We did the study, and they did determine that if it built out without controlling the septic systems, especially the aerobic ones, then you're gonna have, you know, harmful to the lake.
Okay,
And
now
that
when you
study, we
say,
provided that study
when
to
you
you.
say built out, what does built out mean?
Built out according to the
And
zoning
if we
plan.
got low-density houses with package plants, that seems to not be built out.
No, it's a long-term thing, so, I mean, obviously, if
Okay,
you
well,
don't start off on
let's
the right foot.
Let's assume half the people were on package plants and half the people were on, you know, aerobic septic systems. Is that harmful? I haven't seen
yeah.
I haven't seen that question answered. This
So-
is assuming everything's built out as aerobic systems.
Yeah, so the thing is, unless you require it, it won't happen, because they'll put them on 1 acre lots, and you will have no way to have that happen, so unless it's below 1 acre. So you won't have that, and as far as density goes, this board and that map controls how dense it will be, because it's already zoned for 1 acre lots. All that yellow area is 1 acre lots, and you would have to approve something different with the commissioner's court to let it be something less. So that's up to the board and the commissioner's court. Let's see, the water sewer, we're working on that. We did get a draft back this summer. This is the overall infrastructure plan around the lake, for both water, and sewer. Of course, Ladonia's the only person that has a CCN around the lake. But as it works out with, people, that develop land, they create MUDs, and they go in, they put their package plan in. It's like an HOA, but you pay in, they have a financing method, and they put those, the the sewage development, sewage treatment in, with their development, as opposed to the homeowner having to do that when he builds his house. So it puts the requirement on the developer who's gonna form mud, as opposed to the individual homeowners, when they build their house, they have to spend $20,000 more just to put a septic system in, when it could be, you just hook into the system that you got there. So, that happens all the time, it's very common, it's not unusual. I know developers will cry about it, and hey, it's too much money, but it is definitely something that happens, it's not allowed to happen in other areas, so, yes, sir.
So why would we not have them tie into Ladonia's water and sewer system as opposed to creating their own mud or something?
Well, a lot of areas are not, gonna be physically
Yeah, on the south
possible,
end of
but
the
certainly
lake.
on the south end, on the south side of the lake, that'd be something that, would definitely be, up to the city of Ladonia. And that'd be something I would encourage, because you already got the facility there, and you got more capacity you need over there, because it was built for the meat packing plant, so you got a lot of capacity there. It's just a matter of getting it over there, so you gotta get it to the location, so
So you
definitely.
could do that even if they weren't in the city limits, you could still.
I don't handle regulations
Okay.
on that,
Fair
so that's
enough.
between you and the city, I don't know how
I
that
think
works,
you
but
can- You
you've
can
got
put
the
in a
several.
mud if necessary, you can expand out. I think there's stuff with, that can be done. I've even had conversations with Upper Trinity about possibly helping with a big package plant to take care of all this. And that would include the city of Ladonia in it.
You
I
put
think
in
you
a-
guys provide both water and sanitation
We do,
services.
we do.
So
We
they
do
know how to
treatment.
do
We
it.
have a number of plants, we've got several of them under construction right now to increase them from 3 million gallons a day to, I think, 11 or 12, I wanna say. We've got multiple of those, we got 2 water treatment plants. We treat, like 70 million gallons a day or something, I can't remember the exact value, a lot.
You
I'd
can
just
create
rather
a,
see them or the county or Ladonia in charge of it, as opposed to keep saying the developer can create a mud, the developer can this.
Well,
I would be real concerned about a developer being in charge
Well, the
first.
mud-
You need to expand your CCN and get set up, because they can come in and they can set up if there's not anybody serving the area.
Yeah.
So that's why we got a plan, and we got to get in front of it and not suffer the consequences of not being involved.
or if the
There are
area,
CCNs all around the lake. You got Dial, McCraw Temple, you
That's for
got
water, not sewer.
Bartley Woods.
That's water, not
So
sewer.
this,
What?
That's for the water,
You made
not
us-
the sewer.
I'm gonna get correction, I got Tom here, who's the expert in this.
For water.
Tell me, Tom.
Just
But
for
there are
clarification,
CCNs.
Yeah, but they're different.
I thought I heard you say that Ladonia was the only one who had a CCN around the lake.
For sewer.
For sewer. Water is different, so I think this one might be this might show the CCNs for water, it's very busy.
that's the
This is all the mapping of the existing
I
lines.
mean, Doug, it's not uncommon for developers to create a management district, and then they've got taxing authority.
Yeah, the MUD has that, they have the ability to issue, that, so the good thing about those package
Is that
plants is
still
they're
legal?
regulated by TCEQ.
Absolutely.
So you've gotta send in your reports all the time, they're like the city has to, just like the city's regulated by TCEQ, so is the, sort of the package plants and the MUDs. So the MUD's a municipal utility district.
So I'm a little greedy, I'm interested in collecting the money.
Well, they're on the north side of the lake, you can't get there,
Right, but I mean,
but on
on
the
the
south
part
side
that
of the lake,
Ladonia can get.
on the south side of the lake, let me
Yeah,
see.
the portion of
this may-
Ladonia can get.
I think this one shows, this is the water CCNs here, so you can see who all serves what area. So Dial's got this piece, McGraw Chapel, Bartley Woods, Gobert, North Hunt, Sud's got that one. City of Ladonia's got this area right here. So right now, City of Irving goes all the way over to, 33, what is that, 3380 over there? And then all the way out past the, toward Pecan Gap. So they got a pretty good size, that's water.
That's the part I'm worried.
Okay, that's the CCN. Yes, sir.
But once we actually take our surface water that's available to us, we tap into that pipeline, Ladonia is the only one that can sell to Fannin County. So we would, if they need water, we could sell to them.
In
The other
Fannin
months
County,
aside.
so the Fannin County line's right here, so,
Right.
yeah, all that area for
But
sure.
that map looked like a lot more than just the city of Ladonia earlier in the presentation.
Oh, yeah, it goes all the way to the
Exactly.
top of the hill, all the watershed
That's the only
area.
place where water from this lake can be used.
Right.
And Ladonia water is the only entity that can sell that water
From the lake.
from the
But
lake.
everybody has wells, so everybody can sell water from their wells, cause they have their own CCNs.
Right, but
And
if,
so
if they develop enough and grow enough, if they don't have the two-thirds overcapacity that we do. with our-
right, and
with
that's
our
down the
wells.
road a little bit, so I think that'll control, I think there'll be an impact on growth, it'll control things a little bit. I don't
Now,
have the.
remember this, the right to get water from Upper Trinity has a fuse on it. I think it was originally 40 years, and we're down to 20-something now.
I don't remember what, I think it has a automatic there's renewals on that contract, so, but anyway, so this is, I think, I don't know if I'm not sure if your sewer CCN matches your water CCN or not. I'm not sure, that'd be something to see. We have it, but you're the only one that has one, so, and it covers
All that.
a long way, so, you know, if somebody comes in, they're gonna have to come talk to the city, about.
So we
you know.
already have the CCN for that area. is
This
what
was a
you're
water
saying.
CCN?
The water CCN.
Looking at water CCN, I don't see that, but you can go look them up easily on the, I believe it's TCEQ.
PUC,
Where is it?
Public Utility Commission.
For CCNs or is that TCEQ?
No, it's Public Utility Commission's
Okay,
water and sewer.
PUC, there you go, PUC, you know more than I do on that one. We're wholesale people, so we don't deal with that part of it.
Well, the interesting thing, so everybody's aware of it, a lot of the MUDs out there and the water service entities don't have sufficient infrastructure, and their water supplies are being used up. A lot of them are begging to be taken over, and if the city of Ladonia wanted to get into that game, they could probably get a couple of volunteers right now who would give up their CCNs if the city of Ladonia would take them over. So be aware of that opportunity.
Yeah, so, that is certainly a resource you have and a right you have in this area here. This kind of some next steps here, of course. Dam construction is our number one thing we're doing. We're again about halfway done with that. Conveyance system, which is the pipe, that is well underway. You're gonna start seeing a lot more activity in Fannin County. We've been south of here for all this time, but we're getting here now. We're gonna bring forward the shoreline management plan and have some input here from this group on that. We're working on we're getting a draft back of a second draft back of the infrastructure plan. Gonna go back and look at that, make sure that's kind of what we thought it was gonna be before we break it out for public, use there. We're going to, next thing is we're building the operational support facilities in the spring. Recreation facilities, that means boat ramps, those public use areas. We've already got the fishing jetty built. And then again, program for water delivery. And now I'll just, we got some local stars here. I hope this works. Hope you can hear it.
Have not seen this.
Okay, now. About 20 years ago, the city of Ladonia invited Upper Trinity to their area to build a new lake. Upper Trinity needed a lake for a water supply. Ladonia needed a new economic development engine for their area. And so that started a journey between the city of Ladonia and Upper Trinity as well as Fannin County.
To ensure the water quality for this reservoir that is being built, the district commissioned a comprehensive study, land use planning activity with the local citizens and stakeholders. This led to formation of the study and a zoning commission development. And now we're working on the final elements of that project so that there'll be a template or a guide for development around the reservoir.
Upper Trinity, Fannin County, and the city of Ladonia worked together to develop the comprehensive master plan and zoning regulations around the lake. Those regulations and that comprehensive plan is important because we need to make sure development around the lake is done in a manner that protects the water quality.
The comprehensive plan was used to be a roadmap for future development around Lake Ralph Hall. So developers or other individuals that are looking to buy land or to do things in the future, they know the areas that certain things are allowed and can be strategic in their purchases and their development activities. It's Fannin County's land. It's the people's land. And it's the citizens of Fannin County that ultimately are gonna benefit from what I view as really an economic engine that will drive development and business here for years to come. And so it was critical to get that input. There were public meetings held in a couple of different areas. So we brought the public in, we asked them for input. There were storyboards up and charts, and they actually could put colored stickers on some of the graphics to say, yes, I like this, no, we don't want this. So all that input and that information was taken in to begin to build a comprehensive plan.
I believe the comprehensive plan is going to benefit the community because it's important to have steps in place for a clear vision when you're doing any sort of development.
Economics and the benefits of adding a lake like Lake Ralph Hall will benefit all members of Fannin County. Even if you don't live near the lake, there's a tax base that the development around the lake is going to go into. So that we've already seen benefits of another lake in that, and that's only going to benefit everybody from that standpoint. And then those in Ladonia and the immediate area, they'll see benefits from people coming, spending the night, spending money in restaurants and whatever commercial shops and those type of things come along following the opening of the lake.
We believe Lake Ralph Hall is bringing in several opportunities. We believe that it's going to bring in more jobs. There's going to be tourists coming to look at it. There's going to be new stores opening up. We've already seen new people moving in to be closer to the town. So with more opportunities, more jobs, then that just brings a better quality of living to our residents here in town.
The shoreline area around Lake Ralph Hall, between the water and the private property, we understand that will be accessed by those adjacent property owners. And we needed regulations and rules in place so that when they access that land area, that it doesn't hurt the lake. We are required to maintain a natural area around the lake per our permit for this water body. And so we are putting those plans in place now so that we'll have proper regulations for boat docks, private uses, that sort of thing as you engage the lake as a private landowner. Lake Ralph Hall will be a public lake that's open for use for open recreation. So the areas in the water surface, of course, will be used by the public, for boating, normal skiing, fishing, all those sorts of normal uses for lakes. There are a few other features that will be here that will be usable by the public, including a couple of interesting things. One of them being the new fishing jetty we're building, built just off of the new Highway 34 bridge, where you don't actually have to have a boat to fish at Lake Ralph Hall. You can actually go to the fishing jetty and you can fish from there. A couple of other opportunities, we have several boat ramps planned, one at the Bug Tussle area, one over the FM 1550 North area, and one of them coming out of Ladonia on FM 2990 to access the lake. Those are 3 public areas where you will be able to launch your boat and have access to the lake. We recognize fossil hunting is very important to the local region, especially the city of Ladonia. And the original fossil park was right here at Highway 34, which will be inundated with water. And so Trinity has endeavored to relocate that fossil park down behind the dam on the Sulphur River so that those opportunities will continue.
Upper Trinity wanted to be a part of this community, as well as we wanted to be a part of the building of the lake and the vision that they had for the lake. We have worked really well together. We've attained a lot of goals together, I do believe. Upper Trinity's been a blessing to our community, and we just look forward to a continued relationship, working well together, and seeing the success of Lake Ralph Hall. It's a vision that others had that is coming true, and it's going to be such a big opportunity for Ladonia to grow.
So our connection here, so that's how you contact us if you want to, or how you check out the lake. sign up for our monthly, we send out, construction updates on an email, I think on a quarterly basis, I believe, so just go there if you want to. And get your information about Lake Ralph Hall. I think with that, I think that's my last slide, so.
Okay.
If
Well, we
there's any
appreciate-
questions, I'm happy to try to answer them, and you know.
I think you've answered my questions. Anybody else out there have some questions?
Melinda's got a
I've
question.
got one, too. So when is the shoreline management plan gonna be completed?
I'm not sure the time frame. We're working on it. I know that's gonna be done before we open the lake, of course, and we're gonna come back here and do that, so we are working
I
on it.
would, we would.
Will you be bringing a draft of it to the county? And
I don't know the exact format that we'll do, but we'll definitely get the input of the commission for that.
Well,
for sure.
here's the thing. I don't like surprises, and I don't like being excluded from a process. That's disturbing to me, and I feel that I'm being excluded from the process. If we have a problem, you need to know about it now,
Yeah.
rather than after you bring it to us. Real simple.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna have a problem, but I don't like surprises.
Gotcha. Yeah. We're probably not far enough along yet to
Well,
do that, so we don't
why
wanna
would it
throw
hurt-
something out there
Why would
that's-
it hurt to show me what you have so far?
Cause it's like literally a bunch of scratch work, and I need to put it together, it needs to be put together in a form that's, you know, presentable.
It did say earlier that area water and sewer infrastructure plan would be 2024 and the shoreline management plan 2024.
Yeah.
Right,
And
and
that's-
I
we should,
thought-
I mean, we're far down the road on those
You
as far
know, I
as.
think we discussed the area and water sewage infrastructure plan and we thought we were getting that this summer.
Yeah, I mean, a
So
couple things
that's
I
why I
don't
thought
wanna.
we would get it today.
Yeah, I mean, the issue there is we did get a draft of that in the middle of the summer, and we had to make there were some there were some assumptions that we had to adjust on that to do that, so it wasn't a plan we wanted to bring forward, so.
What I would say is the lack of transparency isn't working for me.
You know, I mean, it's really working papers right now. We'll get there, we'll get there with you. I mean, it's just,
I've heard this for a year now.
yes, sir.
That's not, that doesn't make me feel good.
I mean, I'll bring it to you as soon as I can. That's what I can
Do I
do.
need to go back and look at the comprehensive plan and adjust it even further to limit your options?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna bring it to you as soon as I can. You know, commit that to
My
you.
question is, should I go to the comprehensive plan on our own, make adjustments to it, and make further adjustments to it, and then share that with you when you come to us with your plan?
Oh, well,
shoreline
I mean,
plan.
we're gonna bring it to you as soon as I can, sir. That's all I
Okay,
can
but
tell you.
I've been listening to this for a year.
I understand that. These are long processes. I think Boulder Lake took quite a while before they got it. We got 2026. We haven't had any developers come to us worried about that to date. So I think we're still in pretty good shape on that. We'll get there. I mean, we're doing it.
Well, I
We're
just
working on
wanted-
it.
I wanted to voice where I am on this
Gotcha,
thing,
yeah.
so you won't have a surprise.
Okay, I hear you.
But we appreciate your presentation, appreciate your time, and I'm not gonna shoot the messenger, so don't worry about that.
I'm worried, I don't know.
It wouldn't hurt to wound him.
Come on now.
In 1 foot.
Wing him.
While we're in here, does Ladonia have an infrastructure plan at all for their sewer? Because what I'm seeing in the city of Bonham is the city of Bonham can grow because they hold their water and their sewer for anybody that comes into the city. You have to annex into the city. But they also have an infrastructure plan so that they can allow that. And I'm just wondering if Ladonia is, at that point, are we thinking about that?
Let me say this, Ladonia's not meeting here right now, so
Right.
they might, that'd be a good question to pose to them, to
That's why
their council.
I'm putting it out there.
There's some here, but they'll need to,
Mhm.
there is, I will say, I do know that there is a master plan. It was done by a consultant, and it's a 2-volume book that shows basically the improvements needed
Okay.
for Ladonia. So that's out there
That
public.
it would be nice. I
And it
asked
exists.
for it last
You
week,
can go to
but
their
there was,
website.
it was
It's on their
my,
website. You can go there, I believe. It's
okay.
on,
The
it's on
city
their
secretary
website.
said there wasn't one.
Anybody know if it's on the website? I know we have a copy of it. And I know it's been, it's out there available for public, so it's definitely
Okay.
something you can get. And it shows what, shows existing infrastructure, it shows planned improvements. It's a little bit dated at this point, and they've made some improvements I know they
But I
replaced some
think it
water
is
lines.
pertinent to this, meeting.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because
So that-
Ladonia is in this with the county.
So part of that is, we've looked at that, and it's in our, that overall plan we're talking about.
Okay.
So it'll be built into that as well.
So that will be included in the plan that you're bringing forward?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's got that as well, so it's a lot, it's a big plan, I mean, it's, you know, the engineers have it, and they're doing their, you know, slide rule calculations, I don't know what, but they're working on that right now, and, you know, so we will bring it forward.
Let me bring this up, and it's my understanding, and I've looked at the agreement some time ago, that the city of the Ladonia can be required to annex the entire lake property. And that call is a call that Upper Trinity can make. So that's a very interesting feature. So if they decide they don't want to deal with the county, at least in the area of the property they own, they can ask the city to annex them. And if the city annexes them, they're gonna have policing responsibilities and all sorts of other things. But that was a feature that was interesting to me, and I think I'm remembering it correctly. I may be wrong, but, yes, sir.
And obviously it'll depend on timing. I mean, at a time, a city could force people to annex in.
Well,
I know they
can't
It's
force it.
voluntary.
You
Yeah.
can't
You can't
anymore. Is that something that would be affected if this, because 20 years ago, if they put that in,
Well,
that may not be
you can't,
enforceable now.
You can't do
a
forced
city can't
annexation.
force annex, but this isn't the city forcing it, this is the property owner forcing it under an agreement. And if you're asking me for a legal opinion on that, I'd have to crack a law book and probably spend 2 weeks and talk to 2 other attorneys to give you a opinion that may be 95% correct, but if Nathan Heck decides he doesn't like it, the Supreme Court doesn't like it, it doesn't matter what all the attorneys in Texas think. It's that group up there on the Supreme Court that gets to make the ultimate decision. But
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's, I think the way it works is any property owner can petition the city to annex in, so
If
that's
they're
not
adjacent.
unusual, so
They have to be
we're
city.
definitely adjacent, many people
Yeah.
are adjacent,
I
so.
think they can petition it, but they can't require it, and I think you may have the ability to require it.
Well, there's been no discussion about it as far as I know, so.
Okay, well, I'm into transparency, guys.
I think City of Ladonia knows that very well, so.
Okay, well, I want the citizens to know it.
Yeah, don't push a lot on the city of Ladonia. We've had several changes over the last 6 years, so any information would be welcomed.
Well, I'm glad to share with you guys, and I guess that brings me, I want to say that Mr. Morris has been a hard worker, just as Jan was a hard worker, and I haven't had a chance to look at everything in detail, but I think that as I look at the rules, and I don't know how it dovetails, the city of Ladonia probably gets to decide who they want on the, okay. Well, we will take a further look at it then. I just wanted to bring it up and get everybody's input. Because I've had people suggest that the city wanted to take Mr. Morris off. I've been satisfied with Mr. Morris's service, as I think everybody else on the committee has also. So I bring that up. We're not gonna make a decision on it tonight, but I think we need to, I'm looking for input, and I see Mr. Morris has something he would like to provide me, and I'd be glad to look at that, and if the city, anybody else has something, I'd be glad to take a look at it. I want to do what's right, and I want to do what everybody wants, and I want to comply with the law. But I took an oath as an attorney to follow the law, and I took an oath as a county judge to follow the law, and all the rest of us are pretty much in the same situation. I want them to follow the law, and I want it applied evenly across the boards. But let's, we'll bring that up at our next meeting. Any discussion on that point?
Well, we just need to decide how often we're gonna have a meeting.
Yes, sir. That's the next item.
So did we table item 5 as far as?
Yeah, I think we
just
did.
went on it.
Yeah.
I think we need to get some more information before we make a decision. I think Di's got some input on that. I think that I need to take another look at their expert report. I think if they got something else or other that they wanna share with me, I think water quality is something we as a county, and I think the city of Ladonia have committed to, but what does water quality mean? You know, we're not talking about something that is perfect, and, you know, there's, reasonable, I think, is probably the key word. And obviously, I don't want people getting sick off of water coming out of this lake, but I don't know enough about what sort of treatment's required, or what sort of safety measures are required. I'm a little selfish in the sense that I would like this lake to add economic value to our county, save the taxpayers money, and that we all have an environment that we're happy to live in and can enjoy. And I don't think we're that far apart. We just need to be a little more open about what our goals are, and have open discussion. And I think when we have open discussion, we move forward, not backward, you know, particularly if we're looking at the facts. Okay. Now, I think we're moving on down to the next agenda item number 7, discussion, consideration, and action to set next Lake Ralph Hall zoning commission hearing and/or meeting for October 10th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Does that work for everybody?
I won't be here. I'll be out of there.
You'll be here?
No, I won't be here.
You won't be here? Do we need another date? Is that?
That week, the next week works fine for me, be the 17th.
17th?
17th.
Works for me, but
Do we
again,
have-
we need to do whatever we need to do.
Do we have members dropping off? I think, I know.
I don't think so.
there is. I know, I think I do in the
These two
subdivision, I didn't
gentlemen
know
are
it.
up in 25,
Okay, that's good.
and I'll double check that. I was more interested in where Mr. Morris was and where the city was, and that was my primary concern for this evening, and we'll take a look at it when we meet, and we're looking at the 17th.
That works for everybody else.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and have a vote then. Can I have a motion?
I'd make a motion, we meet October 17th, 2024 at 5:30.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Magnus. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We've got a second by Commissioner Wallace. Assuming there are no further questions, let's go ahead and vote. We've got Commissioner Shinpaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Magnus. Commissioner Wallace.
Aye.
Commissioner Morris, and the chair says aye. And I'm following my written script, that's why I'm going out of order. Okay. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's good that we have these meetings. I want to thank our friend, Mr. Janway, for giving us a presentation and putting up with me. So I thank you for that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and have somebody talk about agenda item number 8, and that's adjourn the public meeting.
I'll make that motion that we adjourn.
Okay. I haven't melted completely yet, it may be early, but with that being said, I've got a motion from Commissioner Shinpaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Commissioner Wallace. You lost by a fraction of a second.
No, I said he's one.
Okay.
He'd already made the motion.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and vote. Commissioner Shinpaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Magnus.
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace.
Aye.
Commissioner Morris. Chair says aye, motion passes. We are adjourned at 7:08. 7:08.
Brand new Texas Farm Credit Shelf.
Do what? You need one?
Look at that brand new Texas Farm Credit Shelf.
Need one?
Yeah, you got one?
I'm a truck, but I'll get you one. I'll come with that.